There is an entire generation of entrepreneurs out there that has been taught growing a business that doesn't make money is the way to create the most value. I think this is incredibly crazy, and I can't wait to share one of the most bizarre conversations I've ever had with you from my trip to Canada last week. I'm Alex Sharfin, and this is the Momentum Podcast, made for empire builders, game changers, trailblazers, shot takers, record breakers, world makers, and creators of all kinds. Those among us who can't turn it off and don't know why anyone would want to. We challenge complacency, destroy apathy, and we are obsessed with creating momentum so we can roll over bureaucracy and make our greatest contribution. Sure, we pay attention to their rules, but only so that we can bend them, break them, then rewrite them around our own will. We don't accept our destiny, we define it. We don't understand defeat because you only lose if you stop, and we don't know how. While the rest of the world strives for average and clings desperately to the status quo, we are the minority, the few, who are willing to hallucinate there could be a better future, and instead of just daydreaming of what could be, we endure the vulnerability and exposure it takes to make it real. We are the evolutionary hunters, clearly the most important people in the world, because entrepreneurs are the only source of consistent, positive human evolution, and we always will be. Making money in your business just makes sense. And I would tell you it's the only logical way to build your business. That's why the conversation I had on my flight to Canada last week was so incredibly bizarre. Let me set it up for you. So I'm going to Canada to meet with Giovanni Marsico. I'm on the Archangel Council, part of the team that's helping him grow his company. I actually coach Giovanni. I coach his girlfriend, Stephanie Estima. Her chiropractic functional medicine practice and Archangels are both clients. And I was getting on the flight, and I looked at my flight in first class, and the person sitting next to me is someone I know. It's actually the person who runs the coaching and growth and consulting department for a very prominent grow and scale speaker. In fact, someone who speaks on scaling up a lot and talks about Rockefeller habits and other types of things. And so I was sitting next to his partner in his coaching and consulting company, someone that I've known for a while. And of course, I'm not going to use names because it's not necessary, but it was so bizarre that we were sitting next to each other because we pretty much compete like head to head on what type of clients we want until we started talking. And then I realized that might not actually be true. Because as we started talking, he started telling me about his business. And here's what was really interesting. As he was explaining his business, he was telling me how they coach and what type of stuff that they do. And he had collateral for everything. He pulled out one of the nicest org charts I've ever seen. He pulled out another organizational chart that was really pretty. He had all this collateral. And then I realized, oh, this is one of those entrepreneurs that is building a company to sell. The only thing he's doing is creating a company to sell. So I turned to him and I said, how big is the company right now? He said, well, we have 33 people. And I'm like, man, for a coaching company, that's a lot. What is your annual revenue? 4.3 million. To give you perspective, Katie and I started the company we have now in July of last year. It's now September. So from July to September, we're just over a $2 million run rate with about 6 people. To get the guy who I was talking to on the plane has been doing this now for like 7 or 8 years. He's at 4.3 million, 33 people. And then I asked the magic question, are you profitable? And he said no. So let's just let that percolate for a second. One of the largest coaching companies out there that is known for scaling up and getting people's businesses to grow, and they aren't profitable. In fact, they're running a $4.3 million company with 33 people, and I can't tell you how they're making decisions. Here's why. Now, before I get a bunch of emails and messages about how, oh, this is how you create a valuation, and you have to have a team, and blah, blah, blah. Let me just tell you something about running a company that isn't profitable. It's near impossible to make the right decisions. Because here's the bet that these guys are taking. The bet is they will work like crazy, build a company not following what creates profitability, but following some other set of questions that I couldn't even tell you what it is, and then they're going to be able to sell it and make a bunch of money. Here's how I coach building businesses instead. Build a business around who you are, make it self-funded, build your team, and then live the dream, have everything you ever wanted. Here's the problem. When you're going down that route of taking on financing, going out and selling your company, you're not in control anymore. And here's the biggest issue. This is why I feel like it's so crazy that not only is this guy losing money, but he's coaching other people to scale their business. Because, ready, here's the foundational issue, the biggest challenge. If you're not making decisions based on what creates profitability, then what are you making decisions on? The single most important thing in your business is driving profitability. You can argue all kinds of other things, but I would tell you it's driving profitability. And if you're making decisions on how to build a team, what infrastructure to have, where to spend money, but you're not driving profitability, then it just doesn't make sense. You end up with weird organizations that have infrastructure they don't need, that have people they don't need, like a $4.3 million coaching company with 33 people. I can tell you, having owned information products organizations since 2007, that is crazy. I don't know how you could possibly use 33 people in a $4.3 million coaching company. And so what that means is that company, that organization is a massive cluster. I guarantee you. The dramatic irony that they help other people scale up is like a complete joke, because how are they driving the productivity of the team? Here's how it really works. If you want to drive your team and grow your business, you ask a simple question. What is going to make us more money? What's going to move us forward the farthest? What's going to increase gross revenue and net revenues? What's going to make our organization most successful? And you build around it. When you don't have money, or you're chasing VC, or you're not profitable, I'm sure there's consultants out there. Maybe this guy can help you, but I don't know how to help you do that. See, what I know how to help you do is to grow a business that makes a tremendous amount of money and it's self-funded. And the fastest way to build value, real value, is to build a profitable company. At one point, he even said to me on the flight, he said, well, building profitability is not the fastest way to build value. And I said, I completely and totally disagree with you. I said, all due respect, I know you've been doing this for a long time, but that's a crazy statement. I told him, I've been working with organizations for over 20 years that have been growing towards a sale or an exit of some type. And I can tell you, in my experience, the ones that had massive profitability were the ones that had the biggest deals and the biggest checks. Were there anomalies? Were there companies that weren't profitable that sold? Were there companies that didn't make a lot of money that sold? Sure. But you want to go back to a consistency of a 25-year career as a consultant, having seen hundreds of exit deals. The ones that were making money were the ones where the owners had the most leverage, got the most out of it, and got the deal that they wanted. And so it was crazy for me to think that, one, not only is this person out coaching other people to scale up, but they can't even run a profitable business themselves. Two, what are you making decisions based off? If it's not profitability, it must be image, because, man, I'm telling you, there was a lot of money spent on image. Everything I asked about his company, he pulled out some cool sheet from a slide deck. Like, that's where they're really spending the money. He has an entire team creating the image of the company to sell it along with the actual functional sale of the company, which just doesn't make sense. Or sorry, the actual functional operations of the company, which doesn't make sense to me. You have these two outcomes. And the reason that I don't work with entrepreneurs that are chasing venture capital or aren't profitable is because I don't understand how to do it. I build businesses that make money. I build businesses that are profitable. I help my clients build businesses that make a ton of money. Because here's the math this guy's looking at. He's like, hey, if I have this $4.3 million coaching company and I can grow it to 10 million and I get a multiple of 3, I'll make $30 million. Well, he's already been doing this for about 6 years. Let's say he has another 10 years doing it, or another 5 years doing it. That's 10 years to make $30 million. And it's only the percentage that he keeps because he already has venture capital in the deal. Well, why don't you do it the other way? Katie and I in 2007 started the Certified Distressed Property Expert designation. From 2007 to about 2015, we did over $70 million in that product with margins around 35 to 45%. We pulled over $10 million out of that product ourselves, net, walked away with. Like, that's about the same as what he's going to get trying to sell his company. Today, so many entrepreneurs are chasing this dream of the big payday when the big payday is right there waiting for you right now. Run a lean company, sell an incredible product, get a huge following, and you'll make money right out of the gate. So there's sometimes where making money just makes sense. And when I sit down with somebody who's helping other people and they aren't even making money in their business, it blows me away. And if there was one thing I took away from our conversation, it was this. I am so much more confident in the solutions and the product we provide to business owners now, knowing all of the details of the conversation I had with that person, because honestly, they're probably one of our top 2 biggest competitors. There's just not that many people who help organizations grow and scale or get traction and growth. And this one that helps, this is just one of them that helps people scale up. And fundamentally, I don't think anybody should be working with a business coach who has a 33-person, $4.4 million company that isn't making money, because if he can't coach his own business to be profitable as he grows value, how would he possibly coach yours? Making money just makes sense. And if you're working with a coach or consultant or anybody else who doesn't have the same values you are, and here's another big one, isn't getting the same results you want, you have an issue. You should get out of it, because the challenge is you will become more like the person coaching you in every way. I guarantee you a very high percentage of that person's clients aren't making money and need to go get funding, because that's what he knows. That's the world he lives in. And he's looking for this big payoff. Here's how I would suggest you do it. I'm going to go back through it just one more time. This big payoff that everybody wants, it's not going to work, because the VC route, the sell the company route is work like crazy, put everything you can in the company. And by the way, he was doing it. We're on this flight up to I can't remember where we were flying, but I was flying to Toronto. And I pulled out a movie and started watching it and made some notes in my phone. And I looked over and he pulled out his computer, got online, got into his inbox. He had over 90 emails. He's completely sweating because he's already taken investment money. When you take investment money in your company, here's the things you will never ask. You're never going to ask, what's in this for me? How does this make my life better? How does my life get easier? How do I get more of what I want? How do I get to be fulfilled as a human being? What you have to ask all the time is, how do I get the venture capitalists off my backs? How do I perform for the investors? How do I meet all the mile markers I have to? So he was aggressively going through email for about 35 minutes, and I couldn't help but watch. And then he switched over to Facebook and played on Facebook for an hour. You know why? Because when you're in the world of losing money and 100 emails in your inbox and venture capitalists climbing up your back, you go on Facebook because you have to waste some time. You go on Facebook because the 100 emails is just staring you down, and you do anything you can to get out of that feeling. So here's the right way to do it, or here's the way I would suggest you do it. Think about what it is you want in your life, what it is that you actually want today. And how do you want to live? Who do you want to have around you? What's the type of time that you want to have available to you? Who do you want to spend time with? Then build a self-funded company around that and live your dream every day with your business. And you can do this. I have clients that are doing this every day. Wallace and Ashlyn Nelson and Emily Hirsch and Alex and Layla Hormozy and Matt Frew up at ShipZoom, building a business that supports the lifestyle you want every single day. So you're not sacrificing now so that you can work like crazy, sell the company if you're lucky, and then go out and buy your perfect life. Here's the reality of that plan, the whole sell the company plan. The sale of your company will be the biggest hit to your momentum in the history of your entire life. That exchange of a big paycheck, it ends up feeling like everything in the world came to a screeching halt. Take it from someone who knows. I sold the business that I started in my 20s, and the day that I was out of it, the day that nobody was calling anymore, the day that there was no energy towards me anymore because I had just gotten rid of this company, it was one of the most unsettling days of my entire life. I retired in my early 30s. I wasn't going to work anymore. It was the longest 6 weeks of my life. I almost died. I was going crazy. And so if you are in a position where you've been talked into this whole kill yourself, and maybe someday you'll make money by selling the company, there's a different way to do it. Build the life you want. Build a business around who you are. Ask questions like, how does this make my life easier? How does this business make things easier for me? How do I do more of what I want without having to do what I don't want? Stay in control of your business by self-funding it, letting it grow organically. And you'll see a massive change in how you react to your business, how you live, and how you grow. Because when all you're doing is chasing company valuations, you're making decisions based on a set of rules that are very obscure. When you're making decisions based on profitability and having the life you want, you can have ultimate clarity and build the business that's actually going to support you. If you're interested in understanding more about how to do exactly that, go to billionairecode.com. Fill out a few questions. We'll give you your exact results on where you are on the Billionaire Code, the proven path from 0 to 100 million for entrepreneurial success. You'll know which of the 9 levels you fall in right now, where you should focus, and if you'd like, you can set up a call with my team. billionairecode.com.